Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video I'm going to be reading romance books to celebrate Valentine's Day. So before I get into the video, please don't forget to like this video if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I primarily read fantasy, thriller and romance books and I post videos every Sunday. So I have 4 romance books that I really want to get to in this video. The first one is Deep End by Hazelwood. I've done a really bad job of keeping on top of Hazelwood's releases. I really enjoyed most of what I've read. I didn't enjoy Bride, but I have enjoyed most of what she has published and I need to catch up on her backlist, so I have this one on my Kindle. And then next up we had Say You'll Remember Me by Jimenez. This is her latest release as of when I'm filming this video, and I've read her entire backlist apart from this, so I really want to get to this one. I then have Done and Dusted by Lyla. This is the first in a cowboy romance series, so I've caught up on quite a few series that I'm currently in the middle of, so I want to get to some of the series that I've got on my TBR, and I've really wanted to read this one for quite a while. And then finally we have the Strawberry Patch Pancake House, which is the 4th book in the Dream Harbour series, I believe. I recently read the Christmas Tree Farm, so I really want to catch up on this series as I have everything that's published, and I've really enjoyed what I've read so far. So we have these 3 books plus Deep End by Hazelwood. So there's a bit of a blue theme for this vlog, apart from Deep End is purple, but physical books I've got are all blue. So let's get reading. I have started the first book for this reading vlog, which is Say You'll Remember Me by Jimenez. So this is the first in I believe a series interconnected standalones. As ever with Jimenez, that's what she tends to write, but this is the first book currently published in that series. So in this one we follow Xavier and Samantha, and they meet when Samantha brings an abandoned cat into the veterinary clinic that Xavier runs, and the cat essentially has no butthole. Xavier said that he can refer her to a clinic for surgery, but it would be very, very expensive, like £10,000, and it would be better off to just put the cat down, because as well there's not necessarily a good success rate for this surgery. And Samantha decides to prove him wrong, and she fundraises £10,000 for this cat to have butthole surgery, essentially, and that's literally how it's described, as like butthole surgery. Cat has the surgery and she brings the cat, who's called Pooter, back for a checkup, and Xavier then asks Sam out on a date. Now they had chemistry from the get-go, and they go out on this date. They have this like perfect night together, and it turns out that Sam is actually moving back to California the next day, which is like 2,000 miles away from where they currently live, because her mother has dementia and she has forgotten who Sam is. So Sam wants to return home to help care for her mother, and Xavier is upset because he really did like Sam. He definitely thinks that she's like the one for him. And essentially this book is Samantha trying to encourage Xavier to forget about her, but Xavier can't forget about Sam and wants to pursue a relationship with her. So this is their story. So I'm really enjoying this one so far. As ever with the Jimenez book, as I've just explained, there is always much deeper things going on than just a love story, and you really wonder how they're going to make this work, because Sam has moved to California to be closer to her family, to help with her mum, and Xavier can't follow her. Like, he would follow her but he can't, because the vet clinic that he owns and runs, he is only recently opened and he has hundreds of £1,000s worth of debt, so he can't just sell the clinic and move, and he can't really get someone else to run the clinic because he's taking like a very small salary for himself and he doesn't want to basically ask that of another person. So they're kind of stuck. They're both stuck where they are and they can't return to each other, but I'm loving their relationship. I really love the 2 of them together, and how Xavier will just do anything for Sam. Like, he even pretends to go to a conference in California just to come and see Sam, because he knows that if he just says to Sam, I'm coming to visit you, she'll get really angry at him. Angry in that she wants him to be happy and move on with someone who is closer to home to him. I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm not sure if it's a 5-star read. It's definitely in the 4-star area. Like, I love Jimenez as an author. I love her writing. I love the relationships that she builds, and I also love the relationships that our characters build with not just each other but with the people surrounding them. Like, we're really getting an insight into Sam's family, and we haven't had too much of Xavier and his friends yet, but I'm hoping they play a bigger role towards the end of this book. But I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm excited to carry on with this one, and I will check back in with you guys when I'm finished with it, but I'm just loving it so far. I know it's going to be an emotional read, especially given the topics that it is covering, so I would say like be wary of that going in. I'm interested to see how Sam's family kind of make it work with Sam's mum, because it's a very difficult situation and she seems to be getting worse quite quickly. She's not a strain on the family, I don't mean it like that, but it's a very difficult situation in that you can't get angry at Sam's mum because of she doesn't realise what she's doing. And I think as someone who has someone in their family who potentially has dementia, it's hitting home quite hard actually for me. And I think that some people don't realise how much of an impact this doesn't just have on the person who has the illness, but the people surrounding them, and it's really difficult. Xavier being there for Sam is what she really needs. I think she's trying to be strong, and I think she just needs sometimes someone to help her out, and I think it's very hard on her, especially as her mother doesn't actually remember who she is. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens here. So yeah, I'm going to carry on reading this one and I'll check back in with you guys when I'm done. So I have now finished reading Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and I'm going to give this one a 4-star rating. So for me, this is not one of my favourite books by her. 4 stars is still a really good rating, so it doesn't mean I didn't enjoy this book. Just compared to the Part of Your World series, I didn't enjoy this one as much. Mainly for me, I just think that the ending of this was just a little bit unrealistic, and you do find that sometimes with romance books. So in this one, Xavier is a vet and he owns his own veterinary business, and he is in like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to open this business. He can't move to California to be with Samantha because of this, and she can't move back, and essentially like the advice that he's given by someone is to just go and get your girl, just like don't worry about anything else, just go and get her. And I think when you're in that amount of debt, you can't just like brush it off like that. And then I think that the resolution and how they ended up to be together was just a bit convenient and just again unrealistic really. And I mean, like, I'm happy for them, I'm glad they ended up together, because it seemed like this relationship was making them both miserable in the way they had to fly back and forth to each other and they were barely seeing each other. But I just think the reality of it was just not really very realistic. And I know it's a romance book and I know it's just a fiction book, so I'm not expecting it to be that realistic, but I think it was just a bit convenient. And considering as well, like, we had sort of 15 pages towards the end, this still wasn't really like resolved. It was just felt a bit rushed, and just there was things that were picked up that were then never really resolved. Like, Xavier doesn't have a very good relationship with his parents. That was in conversation quite a bit, and then nothing ever really happened with that. And then we didn't end up seeing much of his friends, which I was quite disappointed with. And I'm glad that they encouraged him to go and be with Samantha, but I think it would have been nice to have seen him hang around with them a little bit more. We only really got like one chapter with him hanging out with them, and then one chapter on their date where him and Sam hung out with his friends. So it was just a bit, it didn't feel like complete really. And I think with Abby Jimenez, one of the good aspects of her books is that you get this, like, the surrounding people are really supportive and you see a lot of them, and I think that was what was missing in this one. So there was just a few things that were kind of dropped halfway through, and like the resolution I thought was just a bit convenient really. So yeah, it wasn't 5-star for me. It was 4-star, which is still really good, but it was just a bit, the conversations that Sam was having with her family regarding her mother and like her father as well, I don't know, I didn't love this. I didn't love this one. So I'm going to give it a 4-star rating because I still really enjoyed it. I just didn't love it. There was just things that I wasn't really very happy with. I am glad I've read this one, and I think the next book in this series comes out in March, so I'm keen to see who that is going to follow. But yeah, it was cute. It was a fun romance. So far, I definitely think the Part of Your World series is better, but that's just my opinion. I have read the next book for this reading vlog, which is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. So this one is a little bit different to what Ali Hazelwood has written in the past. So this is a diving romance, like swimming diving romance. However, it's not really all that different to what she has read, because you still have these STEM elements in there. So in this one we follow our two main characters, Scarlett and Lucas, and Lucas is like an Olympic level swimmer and Scarlett is a professional diver, and they are in like college, or I'm not really sure, they're studying like science together, and they're about 20, 21 I think, I'm not really sure. And in this one, essentially Lucas is going out with a girl called Penn, and they've been together since they were like 15 years old, and Lucas really wants to try like more kinky things in the bedroom, which Penn isn't really up to. So Penn decides that her and Lucas aren't meant to be together anymore, so she splits up with him, and they don't really tell anyone that they've broken up. And Penn is talking to Scarlett, they're friends, they dive together, and Scarlett confides in her that she is into like kink as well, and tries to kind of like not speak to her about it, but sort of say that, like, you know, Lucas would never force things like that upon her, yada yada. And then Penn says to her that you and Lucas should like essentially get together and like screw around because you're both into the same things. So that's kind of exactly what they end up doing. So you have that going on, you have the elements of the swimming and the diving, but also they're both somehow doing like PhDs in science, and they're working with Olive, who was in the Love Hypothesis. I gave this one like a 2.5-star rating. I didn't really enjoy this one all that much. My main criticism of it was that Scarlett and Lucas just had absolutely zero chemistry together. Their interactions just felt really forced, and it really did feel like they just get together because they both interested in the same things. Like, they're interested in trying out more kinky things. The whole situation with like Lucas and Pen not telling anyone that they've split up makes Scarlett out to be the bad person for like getting with Lucas, because obviously like all of their friends see them together and think that Lucas is cheating on Pen with Scarlett, so that's like a whole thing. And I just didn't really like Pen as a, like, I don't think she was a very good friend to Scarlett, and I just found this whole thing just like, you know, they had no chemistry with everything they had going on. It was just completely unrealistic. So Scarlett is recovering from an injury that she got when she was diving, and she's having like, she's physically okay, but mentally she's really like struggling, and she goes to therapy and things like that, and her and Pen start diving like synchronized together. The book works out in that Lucas like cures her, and I really didn't like that. That just gave me weird vibes, and yeah, I just didn't really like this one. I was really quite bored reading it. I only kind of continued thinking I know people really love Ali Hazelwood, and I've loved her more earlier works. I haven't really seemed to love a lot of her newer work, and this one was just really not for me. I just didn't really enjoy it. And for me as well, this has warnings saying like, you know, there's explorations of kink and things like that, and they had the most vanilla intimate scenes I've ever read, genuinely. It's like, where was it? It was just really quite boring. I think this was just the exact same as what she always writes, kind of a little twist in it, but even then not really, because like nothing really came of it. So I gave this one a 2.5 star. I think for me, I'm going to take a bit of a break from reading Ali Hazelwood. I have currently one more book of hers to read, which is Problematic Summer Romance, so I might read that one in the summer. I've got it on my Kindle, but we'll see. I'm not sure if going forward after what I've got outstanding, if I'm going to continue reading her. I just think that her earlier stuff I enjoyed a lot more, and I said this in a recent vlog where I read like the oldest books on my TBR. One of her books was on that. I find that her books are very formulaic, and once you've read one, you've kind of read all of them, and this was her trying to be a bit different, but it was still the same in a way. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy this one. I wouldn't really recommend it. I don't really have any much more to say than that, really. It was just a bit disappointing. I just didn't really enjoy it. So I think a 2 or a 2.5. I'm not quite sure on what to rate this one, but considering as well everyone seems to love this book, I was looking on the Goodreads ratings and they don't really seem all that good from the ones that I was looking at anyway. So yeah, that's that one done at least. So moving on to the next book for this vlog, but yeah, I'm not sure if me and Ali Hazelwood will be together going forward, essentially. I have started reading Done and Dusted by Lyla Sage. I'm currently just over 200 pages into this one, so I actually only have about 100, just over 100 pages left. So this one is a cowboy romance. It's the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I've had this one on my TBR for quite a while, and I've been really wanting to read it for a while. So this one is a brother's best friend romance. So we follow our main characters Clementine, or Emmy, and Luke. Luke is the product of an affair, so his family have always kind of like neglected him and never really wanted him around, and he was sort of taken under the wings of the Ryder family, which is what Emmy is from. So Emmy is a rodeo, well, she's part of a women's rodeo association, and she has a bad accident and she ends up leaving where she's currently living and moving back home to Wyoming. She doesn't really tell anyone why. She's really scared to get back on a horse because she did have quite a violent accident. And Luke is working at the ranch. He owns a bar in town as well, and obviously he's a family friend, and he also teaches the young kids in the town to ride horses. So he offers to not teach Emmy to ride because she knows how to do this, but to essentially help her get past this like mental block that she has in getting back on a horse. And we kind of go from there, and they end up forming a bit of a relationship. Now I'm really enjoying this one so far. This is definitely giving like Chestnut Springs vibes with the found family, the huge family, obviously the cowboy aspect of it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's such a quick read as well. I'm absolutely flying through it. I definitely think it helps that like the font is really big on the pages, but I definitely think I could finish this easily tonight. But I'm really loving it. I'm loving the relationship between the two of them, and how Luke doesn't want to be Emmy's dirty secret. So there's a scene where he hides in her bathroom when one of her brothers comes knocking at the door, and he's straight away like, look, I don't want to be treated like a dirty secret. I want to be open with our relationship and things like that. So I really like how he stands up for himself, but also is considerate of Emmy's feelings as well. Like he gets why she wants to maybe keep this relationship a secret, but that's not what he wants. And I really like the friendship that Emmy has with her best friend Teddy. I'm definitely thinking that maybe Teddy's romance is going to be in one of the future books. I'm loving the, like I said, the family aspect of this, not only in the Ryder family, but also the wider aspect of it. So we have Teddy, who is Emmy's best friend. Her father, Hank, was working at the ranch as a ranch hand, and him and Amos, which is Emmy's father, the owner of Rebel Brew Ranch, they were really close friends. How, you know, Emmy goes into Teddy's house and they're all just like chatting, like, you know, they've known each other for years, and it's just really fun to see that, how everyone like loves each other, everyone supports each other. And yeah, I'm just loving like the wider family aspects of it that you always get in books like this. I think is really good at like a good family aspect. So I'm really intrigued to see where this one's gonna go. I'm really enjoying it so far. I was getting a bit slumpy with my reading, and I think this is definitely what I needed to like pick myself back up, because it's a quick read, it's fun, it's funny, it's just a good time really, and it's really not going to take me too long to finish. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. And again, I'm really annoyed that I've taken so long to pick this one up. I own the entire series, so I had no excuse really. But yeah, really enjoying this one so far, and I'm gonna crack back on with reading and check back in with you guys when I'm done. So I have now finished reading Done and Dusted by Lyla Sage, and I think I'm gonna give this one a 4-star, maybe a 3.5. I'm leaning more towards a 4. So I did really enjoy this one. I thought this was fun. This had some more like deeper topics, and I wish we kind of delved into some things a little bit more, like maybe like Emmy's feelings about her accident and things, because it kind of was mentioned and then she kind of moved forward with like healing from that quite quickly, like mentally. So I kind of feel like that was a little bit convenient. Overall, I did enjoy it. I do think that the brother Gus, his reaction to them dating was a little bit over the top. I don't really feel like people would react like that in real life. I don't know, but I think that their relationship was really cute. I really liked them together as a couple. Like I said, I really liked all the side characters, and I'm definitely interested to see and follow some other characters in this world. And if you're looking for like a fun, quick cowboy romance, I definitely recommend this one. It didn't really take me long to read at all, which I really appreciated. It definitely helped me sort of getting out of my slumpy mood. So yeah, 4 stars for this one. Really enjoyed it. And then on to the last book for this reading vlog. I have now read the final book for this reading vlog, which is the Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. This is the 4th book in the Dream Harbour series, and I'm going to give this one a 3.5-star rating. So I was really enjoying this one, pretty much along the same lines as the other books in this series, and then there was something that happened at the end that I just really didn't enjoy. So in this one we follow Archer and Iris. Iris is a Dream Harbour resident. She's grown up here, and Archer has recently moved to the town. He had a sort of friends with benefits relationship quite a few years ago with a resident in this town, whilst they were both working at a restaurant somewhere else. And this one night stand, or this friends with benefits situation, ended up in a daughter that Archer never knew he had. The mother of the child passed away, and this is when Archer found out that he was actually a father. She had put him on the birth certificate but never told him that he had a child. So Archer sort of plans to temporarily move to Dream Harbour to get custody of his child and then move back to Paris, as he is actually a wannabe Michelin star chef. He's very high up in the chef industry and he runs his own restaurant in Paris. He meets his daughter. Obviously things don't quite go very well. She's only like 5 or 6 I think, and she's a bit scared of Archer. She's never met him before, and then suddenly she's got to go live with him. Iris needs somewhere to stay, so Archer, through the grapevine, ends up hiring Iris as a live-in nanny, and they very quickly form a sort of relationship, or like friends with benefits situation, and we see their relationship develop. Archer comes to terms with being a parent and all the difficulties that can come with that, and Iris kind of basically goes through a crisis as well. Of obviously she's looking after this child and she's trying to decide whether she wants children in her future. Now I gave this one a 3.5. I did really enjoy this. It was a quick read, you know, it doesn't really require a lot of brain power to get through these books. They're fun, it's like cozy small town vibes. I would definitely hate to live in this town with how everyone is up in everyone's business. I personally would hate that, but I do find it fun to read. I really liked the characters. I really liked the aspect of having a unknown child and how Archer had to sort of come to terms with these massive changes going on in his life and sort of discovering a family that he never knew he had, and him coming to terms with living in this small town as well, and how his plans for his life kind of have now changed and maybe for the better. And I really enjoyed Iris as a character as well. I did at the end find her a little bit, not annoying, but she spends this basically this whole book using this child as a way to determine whether she wants a child of her own in the future. And she seems very adamant at the beginning of the book that she doesn't want one, and she kind of goes through reasons that she doesn't want one, and then at the very end of the book seems to like really quickly change her mind. And I really don't like that in a book. I really don't like that. I don't know, it kind of felt like her whole life decision. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I just didn't really like how this book ended, and I don't want to say what happens in this book because I don't want to spoil what happens, but it just really irritated me. And I think a lot of people, essentially it's a trope that a lot of people don't enjoy in a romance book essentially, and I didn't love it in this one either. I think this has a very similar storyline to Heartless by Elsie Silver. Obviously it's different characters, different setting and things like that, but the main plot premise of it is quite similar. I kind of enjoyed it a bit more in Heartless by Elsie Silver. I just didn't really enjoy it in this book, so that's why I've given it a 3.5, because like I liked it, it was good, you know, I'm still enjoying this series, just not my favourite in the series. Like I think this was probably my least favourite, only because of the ending. But yeah, I did enjoy this one. I think if you're looking for a cute seasonal romance that's quick to read and doesn't really require too much brain power, I definitely would recommend this series. It is really fun, and also the covers are so cute. Like, absolutely love this cover, it's so pretty. But yeah, that is going to be it for this read and vlog where I've read some romance books. Comment down below if you've read any of these books. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions. Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.